All right, guys, in this video, we are going to cover how you can look to play divergences, bearish and bullish, using the indicator into the levels from our support and resistance function. So what we have here are the 4-hour support resistance from the indicator. So I'm going to turn the levels off now. I've drawn them on myself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the indicator function for RSI and OBV divergences. So what we can see here, it also comes with an RSI and OBV addition here, which are two more indicators that you can put on, which will line up divergences you see on the chart, but on the RSI. So what we can do here, and my favorite combination, is to use 4-hour levels and then zoom down to the 1 hour, 30-minute, or 15-minute in order to look for divergences at those high time frame levels of support and resistance. So we'll take a look here through the chart and I'll show you guys exactly what this looks like. I've drawn the support resistance levels on all of these coins already so that I can just show you the divergence function. So what we have here, clearly what you can see are tops and bottoms marked out by very clear divergences. Now, if you're playing divergences into support resistance levels, your best bet is to play them when they are overbought on the RSI or oversold on the RSI. But we'll take a look here. So what we have here was a 1 hour bullish divergence, your RSI making a higher low while your price was making a lower low, giving you that hourly divergence. And you can see it came right into the H4 level. This is how you can play these. So what we have is a very strong support resistance level with a divergence showing you that these sellers are losing momentum into support. So what happens? You took the trade anywhere in here, you catch a very nice 10% move higher. Now, we don't have any divergences on this entire way down. This is now 30 minutes. So you can look to play only when you have your divergences signaling a potential reversal. You can see here, we don't have any divergences on the way down until here where it marks out a bottom. No divergences on the way up until here into resistance where it marks out a top. Right? So we had this divergence here, which gave you a little rejection, which I believe is about 3%, just about 2.5%. And then we come up here and on the 30-minute, we put in another divergence here, a little bit higher, and we put in another divergence, and this ends up marking out the top. We flip to 1 hour, it will show you the 1 hour divergences, and we have a very clear 1 hour divergence into 4-hour resistance. That's your trigger to take a trade. There's multiple examples that you will find all over the chart. 1 hour divergence right here into resistance, rotates down to the level below where you get a 1 hour divergence into support. You can see it pumps up. We don't reject until we get another 1 hour divergence just shy of the level. Till we come down, you get a 1 hour divergence, little bit of a pop, and then you see these ones here. We'll go through a few other charts. So if we look at Ethereum, same thing. You have a 30-minute divergence into the 4-hour resistance, 30-minute bear div, 4-hour resistance. These are good plays. You can scalp these all day long. That is a 2.5% move on Ethereum. This one here, depending where you took it, gives you a 3.5% move. Now we get the big rejection down into the H4 support where we put in a very oversold on the RSI bullish divergence. This was a very beautiful trigger to get long. This ended up playing for an absolutely massive move. 18% on Ethereum is absolutely crazy. And so even here, we reject from the level and then we put in not an overbought RSI divergence. So they are not as strong, but still we get the rejection, right? Comes down and you can see how those play. And take a look at Sol, same thing, right? You have a very clear oversold RSI bullish divergence into support where you get this very nice move up. Now we get an overbought, extremely overbought on the RSI. 30-minute divergence into right here, your support and resistance. That's where you could have taken the trade. Even this one, overbought, that played out for a 3.5% scalp. You get this one up here into resistance. That's a beautiful 10% move lower. So you can see how you can play the RSI divergences into levels for very clear triggers for trade. Now, what do we have here? 30-minute bearish divergence to a 4-hour support, rotates all the way down, and you get here a 30-minute bullish divergence, not quite oversold, so it's not as strong as a signal, but you still get that rally. Down here, you had multiple, these ones being oversold, and you can see that ended up marking out the bottom. You'll find these all over the charts, guys. 30-minute bear div, 30-minute bear div, 8% move, 5.5% move. So it makes it very easy. Chart your support and resistance levels on the chart, and then use the divergence function to find your triggers. When you get bullish or bearish divergences, 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour into the resistance and support, you can look for a trade. Double 1 hour bullish divergence here into support, leads to a very nice move on ZEC, 32% move, absolutely massive. And on the 15-minute, we come into resistance. We get overbought on the RSI. You can see very clearly you have your triggers for a short and you catch that rotation back down. So this is how you can play, and you can do this on any time frame. So it does not matter what time frame, our indicator will automatically chart the bullish or bearish divergences. So you can see here Bitcoin 4-hour bearish divergence right here into the 4-hour resistance, and we get that move down. So chart your support resistance lines, add them to your chart, and then use the divergence function to get your trigger to go long or short. And it really is that easy. Take this, back test it, you'll see for yourself.